Hey guys, Misuto here, and welcome to a new series where we ask one basic question: what is Forgone? Forgone is a new platforming action game that bills itself as fast and fluid. So let's find out if any of that is true. It is currently an exclusive on the Epic Store. I played through the first 2 levels to kind of get a feel for the game, to get past the tutorial bit. That way we can actually show some of the gameplay. So right here in the center of the hub world, you have a little teleport. You can already see first 2 levels finished. A couple of waypoints in each one. Seems to be one at the start, one halfway point, and then you finish the level. At least that's the system so far. But before we head on into the level and actually play the games, let's check out the oratory. So in this game, I'm using a controller right now, but let's switch to the mouse so I can point to some things. We have these blue, I'm going to call them skill points, and we have this pretty basic skill tree to start. It does look like there are additional skill trees either planned to come in the future or you unlock them as you progress in the game. I'm unsure of which, because the game is currently in early access. So what you see today may not be fully representative of what the game can be, but let's at least look at where it's starting to see if this has a good foundation that's, something worth watching its development. So keep everything I say with a grain of salt, and if you watch this video in the distant future, please make sure you check the date that this was uploaded, because some of the things I say or talk about today could be completely different in 6 months or a year or however long this game is in early access. It did just come out. So looking at the skill tree, some of these numbers are actually very small. This savagery buff is only a 2, 4, and finally at its max ranked a 6% damage increase. That's it. These are very small numbers. One that very disappointed me was this light-footed. Increased movement speed by 1, 2, or 3%. And it's expensive. It costs as much as this one. It's like 50, 100, and I'm assuming the next one is 200. Actually, I have 100. Let's find out. So let's go ahead and allocate this. Yes. So this is assuredly the same price, because this was the same price here. This is the same price. You only get a 3% movement speed buff. Now, movement speed is a very valuable key. A very valuable stat in these kind of games, for sure. Especially a game billing itself as fast and fluid. But a 3% skill is just too small. Like, small numbers are fine in some cases. 2, 4, 6% damage, maybe not good enough, but all it has to do is hit a breakpoint and then it's fine. It depends on the numbers of damage, and as your damage gets better, because you will find better weapons, maybe that matters. But this is just, I don't like these small numbers so far. If we hit the right trigger here, if we hit the right bumper here, you can also see we have a skill system. So right now I have 3 skills. One of them is a little area attack that does 25 damage to all enemies. Another one is a dash forward, dealing 45 damage to all enemies. And then, how do I get to the next one? R2. And then our last one is restoration, which is my favorite so far, because it reminds me of games like Hollow Knight or Ori and the Blind Forest, Ori and the Will of the Wisps. Because it lets you heal in the middle of battle and you gain more, I'm going to call them mana points, but they're definitely not mana points, as you play through the level. So that means that this is going to be your recurring heal. But as you'll see, a running theme of this game, currently it's just not big enough. I'm only 3 levels in the game. I have 200 HP. A 60 heal from the start of the game is just not enough to get us through the level, and you get very few points. We'll show as we go through the next level, but let's look at the forge first and talk about the weapon system. So this is very much and I shudder to use the word, but I'm going to call it a loot 'em up. This has more in common with a game like Borderlands, or a series like Borderlands, than it does with a game like Hollow Knight. The weapons that you find are randomly dropped. They have random skills. Here you can see I have 2 of the same weapons, but they have completely different skills. This one increases your plague damage by 7%, and this one is 12% chance to gain 5 life on hit, which is very nice. The daggers are quite fast hitting. Currently I'm using the only epic weapon that I found, which doesn't seem to have great skills, but it has 2. So that's definitely a step in the right direction. It does a lot of damage, and because it's a falchion, it seems to have longer range. I'm not entirely sure. When you don't like a weapon, or if you already have a better copy, you can sell them off and get some extra resources. let's just say I know I like the healing more than that. I'll keep the dagger. I'll keep this for now. But as you go through the level, you're just going to get a bunch of garbage items. There are different ranged weapons that you have. There are different melee weapons that you have. You can also pick up armor to increase your life. This one has +5 life on it. And this one increases your aftershock damage by 6%, which I'm not entirely sure what aftershock damage is yet, but maybe that's useful. Here we have a ring with +13% health, which is quite nice. And then an emblem with +13. So these are your equip slots. These are the random items that you're hoping to get from enemies to go through the game, and it helps you just get stronger. Do I have anything I can upgrade? No, I've upgraded everything except for this. So whenever you upgrade an item, as you see down here, each upgrade can increase the DPS, or it increases the health by 10% for things like armor. And it has a chance to upgrade this. So I'm not sure if it can upgrade both numbers or if it upgrades just the chance, depending on what it is. But we have seen things like, I believe this started at a 3% chance to stun, and it went up to a 4% randomly on one of these upgrades. So they just get slightly better as you upgrade them, and there's always a chance, which means you'll very rarely have a perfect item, and that gives you the goal of going forward and trying to find more items, which is always a fun thing in this kind of game. That's generally the draw, is the dream of finding a better item. Alright, so let's get out into it and actually fight. So this is going to teleport us to our level, and now we'll be able to talk about the combat. So this is, again, early access, and they have billed themselves as fast and fluid, but let's kind of see how that is. So this is our 3-hit combo. So far every weapon I've had has only had a 3-hit combo. And in the air, you can actually see it's the exact same combo. Your character even goes into their standing stance, even if they're in the air. Which is kind of weird. Usually these games put a bit more on the visuals of those, or have a more dynamic moveset which changes if you're in the air or if you're crouching. And that could easily change. They have a functional set of attacks. The Falchion that I'm using right now, very slow, but it's got a nice big range. Does have satisfying particle effects. I think we hit something there, the wall. I don't know what we hit there, but there are some decent particle effects so far, and the visuals are not bad. It's a bit of a mix of 3D and sprite, which is it's not bad. I don't know if it'll be everybody's taste, because it's not full-on pixels and it's not full-on 3D. So it kind of brings me back to like the PS1 era when we were in the first generation of 3D modeling. It's a bit better than that. So here you'll see 3 different enemies, but 2 types. One of them is ranged, who shoots at you like that. So he can't change his range once he starts attacking you. You see, we've already taken 17 damage from the 2 bullets that hit us. He didn't seem to hit us that hard, but it adds up. So I'm actually going to go ahead and do a little bit of healing. Just a little bit. And you see that it's draining the blue bar over here. As I kill enemies, this will come back, and we'll also gain more ammo for our weapon. So let's go try to find... Nope, that's the wrong way. We have a little dash. Currently, the dash cannot be used in the air. It can only be used on the ground, and it can't be spammed. There's actually about a 1-second delay on it. That is definitely a, balancing choice, which is fine. That's up to the devs. Okay, there's a lot of enemies. We're going to try to take this from the back. Oh, what? Okay, it wouldn't let me walk through him for a second. So there, you see he dropped an item. There we go. Okay, so we got through that pretty unmolested. You can see I practiced this a bit. And here we have a new item, I'm going to call it rare. I don't know. Blue is generally rare. Purple's usually epic. Again, I don't know all the names for these things, but this increases aftershock. So I think that's exactly the same item we have right now, actually. Yes, just a weaker version of the one we have now. Yeah. Okay. But, I mean, that's the draw. Maybe it was better, maybe and it wasn't. But, next time maybe. Okay, so I want to try to get this guy. So I've learned that with the range of the Falchion, I guess this is a normal item because it's not showing up. That was a new gun, or a new bow. Yeah, ranged weapon, sorry. So let's show the ranged weapon. Let's get to an enemy I can actually show the ranged weapon on. So far, I haven't found a lot of enemies that the ranged weapon is good on. It's better on melee enemies, because generally you just want to rush down these guys. Here, let's hit this guy with one. Oh, okay, that was not what I wanted to do. I wanted to dodge. Oh, I forgot the shoot button. There we go. Okay. So, I mean, I could use 2 arrows to kill that guy, or I could just hit him. We took a lot of damage there, but you see our spell is already fully regened. So let's go ahead and get some of this HP back. We're at full again. Okay, so we're gonna do our woo! Even with a slightly clunky dodge, it just feels nice to dodge an attack like that. And then we take 1,000,000 damage in the corner. Enemies also drop a little bit of health. I think we gain like 6 from killing the 2 of them. We also have the skill that I took. I didn't point to it. I picked up a skill called Lifesteal. So we're now out of healing. This is it. This is all we have to get through the rest of this level, basically. The enemies will drop a tiny bit more health, but like I said, it tends to run out really fast right now. And with enemies shooting at you constantly, with like no health pickups, so this is nothing. Is there a secret here? No. Okay, so we just gotta slip through this area. Okay, so let's so far the best way I found to do this is just kind of cheese the enemies. Oh, we got a new melee weapon, which is, I guess, not very good. 15% chance to attach an explosive charge. That sounds way cooler than the one I have. So rather than fast and fluid, because the dodging is a bit clunky, because the weapons, the bow and everything else is a bit clunky, I found a lot more success in taking it very slow and just kind of cheesing enemies on ledges, because no enemy seems to know how to deal with a ledge yet. And that could change if you make enemy AI better, or if you make it more rewarding to do something. Oh, I gotta get him down before the machine gun comes. So we've gained a little bit more healing. We just went through that whole area. We're at 133. So we gained 17, that's it. That's all we got for that whole spot. That's kind of cool. So there is some story in this game. Oh, I got a new skill here, that's right. They were trying to, that's why it's reminding me. Oops. There is some story in this one. So it is not procedurally generated. I think that's important to point out, because that is a big difference between this and some games that are similar to this. The loot is more random. Here we go. So we got a new save point, which is great. It kind of sucks because the last time I died was in the room right over here trying to clear it out, because there's a lot of people with guns. Oh, but the save point gives us all of our stuff back? Can I keep going there to get refilled? No. One-time boost. I guess we could just teleport and come back with full everything. There we go. So it generally seems like the second and third hit of your combo are more... Oh, why do you just walk through enemies? I don't remember that happening before. So I only have 6 ammo. Now I'm out. I can't shoot the weapon. It tells me I can't. So I gotta come over here in the fray. This seems like one of the downsides of the bow. The bow generally has more damage and maybe I've just gotten lucky with better abilities. But it also has lower ammo, which is definitely a big thing. Oh, right, we have a map. So far the map hasn't seemed very useful because the levels are in a straight line. That is not a chest, by the way, that is a switch. Those are switches that you have to open. It might show you where secret rooms are, potentially, but pretty much everything's just been a straight line. Haven't really... Oh, we can drop down from there. Interesting. Oh, we can sneak up. I wonder if we had to go this way. Ow. Okay, so we've gotten most of our life back since we hit that checkpoint. Oh, you lose your momentum when you're hit. That hurts. Okay. So you can kind of get a feel for this. The clunky parts are definitely something that could change in development. Basically, it's a loot 'em up action platformer. If that's the kind of game you're into, it might be worth checking out. It might be worth at least watching to see if it changes in the future. Some parts of this feel great. It always feels nice to, you know, roll those dice, see if you get a better loot. Because before, it took a lot more hits to kill these. Oh, I got plagued anyways. Like, being able to kill an enemy in 1 hit versus 3 hits, it's huge. Oh, you're gonna sit there under this fire, huh? So we can dodge under this fire. Woo! Pretty basic interaction, makes sense. Now we're seeing more of a variety in the enemies. I really wanted to get to this kind of area. These guys are generally weaker. I've seen them mostly as a refill. You can also tend to not get hit by their poison, but I'm getting hit a lot now. Oh, that hurt. I didn't think he'd reload that fast. So we're almost dead now, but we've hit the switch, which, whoop, there we go, we've hit the switch, clearing out that area. Doesn't look like we can go up without maybe a different skill to let us jump higher, but possibly that's something here. But we can now go down here and go back to our base to save up. We cleared out that. The switch is open, meaning we have made progress, which is good. We can now get all of our health back, take our money back, do more upgrades, things like that. This is basically the core gameplay loop. Is you're gonna go out there, you're gonna find new loot, you're gonna come home, you're gonna sell 90% of it. Like, I mean, I like that sword, I'll keep it. I don't need stun, get that out of here. I don't need that. Nope. Explosive charge is cool, but it's just too weak compared to the weapons I have. Knockback you don't need. Oh, plague is really nice. I was originally using the sword with plague, but 3% is not enough. And then paralysis. Just sell most of the stuff we don't need. Just get the money, see if we can do any upgrades. Let's go with this one. So let's see what we roll. We did not get the health upgrade. You see, it was random. So our number did not go up this time. I believe when I first got it, it was 11, and it went up to 12 on the first upgrade, 13 on the second. So I guess I got a little bit lucky there. And then this time it did not go up, but the power went up, giving us, I assume, more damage. This probably combos with your weapon. Almost certainly, right? I'm not entirely sure if the power rating is damage or how strong it is, because it also gives you health. So it's a little bit unclear because every item says power. I'm just now noticing armor also says power. Not 100% clear. But yeah, there you go. That is the core gameplay loop. You're just going to come back to base, you're going to upgrade. This is the skill that I started with, by the way, because it sounded like it would be really useful in a game like this, where this was before I even had the heal skill and did not know that it would be a thing. So I thought, yes, let's get lifesteal. But even this one is really oddly programmed compared to most games. Kills have a 3% chance to gain leech. And then leech is you steal life when attacking enemies for 5 seconds. And how much you leech, they don't say. They don't say what percentage of the damage. It's definitely not 100% because I've had this activate and I gain very little HP. So you only have a chance to enter the state to gain a small amount of HP. And at best, you get a 15% chance. The final skill for this tree is increase the duration by 15%. If you'll notice, the duration's only 5 seconds. 15% of that is only 1 more second. Like, that's a really clunky way to word that, because 15% sounds good. But if you said increases leech duration by 1 second, it would be a lot more clear for the player, and it would give them, it would make it easier to make an informed choice. Like, right now, it's just clunkily worded. This skill seemed good. This was the main reason I went in here. 10% attack speed is a noticeable thing. You're gonna see that. That's a big enough number. But just I think this is the biggest letdown I've had in this. All the numbers seem small. I mean, this one, you can get up to a 5% movement speed, but they're not exactly cheap. We went through that level, we only gained about 100 for half of that entire level. So maybe the whole level we'd get 200, we could get this skill, which is again only a 1 second increase on a 3 second chance proc. That's small. That's small. That is small. Let's see if the time goes up if we allocate this. I don't think it does. No, it's still 5. Yeah. So even at rank 3, we only have a 9% chance to begin leeching, and it only lasts 5 seconds, and the price keeps going up, which means you're going to get big diminishing returns when you're trying to go from 9 to 12 or 12 to 15, but you're paying way more for, again, only a chance to gain leech. So that's the biggest thing that I would watch for, and if this changed, I may come and check out this game again in the future, but right now the skill tree is kind of a bit disappointing. The looting action is fun as always. It's solid. It's very easy to add, new items, a variety of effects. More chests, more something akin to the loot midget from Borderlands series, where you kill one enemy and they just drop a bunch of stuff, and it's fun to get that big explosion. Even if it's a bunch of bad items, it's still nice. And I'm sure there will be or are things like that later in the game, but the build up to that is very slow. The skills are very unimpactful. Like, this is increased critical strike damage by 30%. Like, your critical strike is already, double damage. Instead, you're going to do, instead of 100% more damage, you get 130%. So this is only 15% increase in damage if you crit. And, I mean, crit is, I'm sure, a very low chance. Oh, here you go. Increased crit chance by up to 10% there. So, I don't know what the base crit rate is. But, yeah. This is not, I would rather get this. Rather than getting a 15% increase in damage by getting the, 30% crit damage, why would I not go for the just 10% damage all the time? All the time. So, slight balancing issues, which could be changed. It also looks like they're planning on way more skills, way more skill trees. And the way it's, I didn't mention this before, but when you pick one that is connected like this, you lock out the other tree. So, I cannot go for momentum. I can't get this skill, which gives you a haste. Which is really low. Look at that again. 5% chance to gain haste. And then haste is only a 5% movement speed upgrade for 5 seconds. You could have up to 3, but the chance of getting 3 within 5 seconds is really low. And even then, you'd only have a 15% movement speed buff, which is starting to get to the point you would notice it, but that's what I would expect from a basic skill, not an on-kill skill. So skills, pretty underwhelming. Weapons, pretty good. I've definitely noticed a big difference between weapons. I've noticed myself taking a lot less damage whenever I have better armors. Even if it's just because I have more health, right? Like, these all feel impactful, but the skills don't. It is a game that has potential, and in its early access stage, it's not quite there. It's not a game that I would play and, play through all the development cycles and want to watch it grow, because it just doesn't have that draw right now. The soundtrack is very generic. The graphics are up to individual taste, but they're not in a very artistic way. They're not a game like Hollow Knight or Ori, which is just beautiful in its own simplistic design. It's not something that's fully embracing pixel art like Stardew, which is not a beautiful game, but it's a consistent game. Some things in this one seem a bit out of place, right? Like, our character is semi 3D, but these candles back here just look flat. The world kind of looks flat. It's got that parallax scrolling though. That's nice. That does look good in the background. Gives it a bit more depth. But anyways, guys, this has been Forgone. I hope that this helps you make an informed decision if you're thinking about buying this game or just looking at it in the future. If it has a huge update whenever it launches into a full game, let me know. If you guys like this style of video, let me know in the comments down below. Or if you like this game, let me know that too. don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We've been getting a lot more keys from developers to try out games, so we're gonna make this a new series. Every time I get a new game, I'm gonna play it for a little bit to learn the game, and then I'll play it for you guys to demo what it is so that you can start to make your own choices on these games. So anyways, guys, I am Misuto. This has been What is Forgone? And I hope that this video answered that question for you. As we say in my country, otsukare-sama desu, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Bye!